Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome. Welcome to another fantabulous episode of Real Women, Real Talk. I am one of your hosts, the amazing Shavon Carter, and I am joined by who?
I'm feeling Nikki today. I'm Nikki,
Yes,
founder of Real Women. Good to be here.
darling Nikki. Yes, amen.
Yes, Nikki's here today.
Oh my goodness. And if this is your first time joining us, welcome. We are so glad that you are here. We are a podcast that exists to create safe spaces for women to do real personal development work on themselves. We are real women, and we will tell you more about who we are towards the end of today's show. So we just want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy today's conversation. And hopefully by the end, your curiosity will be piqued and you will want to learn more about us, which we'll share. So, in the meantime, in between time, I want us to say how we're doing. So, sister, how are you doing on today?
I'm feeling real good. I feel like there was something in my red cup, and I have not had a I haven't had a red cup today. I'm just feeling
Red cup energy, though. Okay.
red cup energy. You hear me?
Yes.
I'm feeling really good today. I
Okay.
choose to feel good. It's a busy week for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I did my best to plan over the weekend for the
Okay.
busyness of the week. And I have
Mm-hmm.
learned to take one day at a time,
Mm-hmm.
one moment at a time. And I
Yeah.
think it helped. I got up early. I've been praying and asking God, please
Mhm.
just naturally wake me up at 5 or 5:30 in the morning. Because if you
Yeah.
leave it up to me and my alarm clock, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
But I really want that early morning time for me and God.
Mm-hmm.
And I've just been asking for that lately. And I asked for it. And then when it happened, it started happening on a regular. And I would look at the clock and I would turn back over and go to sleep.
You
But
be like,
lately, today especially, I got up and
yeah,
I was able to epmd, exercise,
nice.
pray, meditate, and do some devotions. It was really
Mhm.
good. So I'm feeling good.
Nice.
How are you, sister?
I am laughing at myself today. Let me tell you why.
Mhm. Okay.
I am turning into my grandmother.
I wasn't expecting that.
So when I was younger, my grandmother used to sit, she had a couch that faced the front door so that she can see out of the door. And it was a tinted door so she could see out, but people couldn't see in. So she
Mhm.
would sit there and I would sit with her and we would talk about what's going on in the neighborhood because she knew, because she could see everything, right? So today I'm in my room
Mhm.
working, and they're in my condo development. They are working on our balconies. They're staining the balconies, but they have to power wash them first. They
Okay.
write letters. They put it in the on the Facebook group, and they put it in the other app that we use for communication for our development. So we had all the ample notice to know that we needed to move all of our furniture off the
Yes.
balconies. So me with my little nosy self, I'm looking across like diagonally. My neighbor still got all of her furniture on the balcony. She went outside today, smoked a cigarette twice, and kept the furniture on the balcony while the people are making their way
Uh-huh.
power washing the balcony. And I'm sitting in my room by myself. Well, why would she do that? Now, why wouldn't she just take her furniture?
That's just disrespectful. No, they trying to help us.
And the man got the ladder. Now he's made it up to her balcony. All of her stuff is there. He got to move stuff around. She still didn't move it. I
Wow.
said, now this lady, I know she in there because I saw her come outside.
Because you just smoked a cigar. No. Listen,
Oh
if I was that man, I would have power washed that furniture. That furniture would have got power washed. You hear me?
I wanted him to, but he was so gracious and moving. He took a picture of everything so they could see that he didn't mess up anything. So he was really doing his job. But I was
Wow.
so irritated. And I said to myself, Shabbat, why are you minding them other people's business? Like, that is not your business. You moved all of your stuff. but I couldn't help it. I was looking out that window like an older woman, like my
The
grandmother.
spirit of your grandmama. Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Is this the grandmama that was the person who didn't pressure you at all about getting married? In fact,
Yes.
would be like, girl, let me
Yes.
find out I like your grandmama. Let me find out
Yes.
your
Oh my
grandmama is
God.
cool.
She was so fun. She was so
Wow.
fun. Like I
Mhm.
love spending time with my grandmother. Oh my God. God rest her soul. But that's
Yeah.
my girl right there. So yes. That's how I'm doing
Wow.
today. I am turning into my grandmother.
You are channeling your grandmama. You need a moo now. You need
A wig, a gray wig.
I gave the team bonnets, so you got a bonnet already.
I should have put my bonnet on because I had on my little house dress. So I should have put my bonnet on and it was all out the blinds all messed up because I'm being nosy. But yes, it was something. I just laughed at
Too
myself like,
funny.
girl, go focus on something else and leave the people
Too
alone.
funny. Well, we are both doing good today.
We are doing good today. Yes. Oh
That's
my goodness. So while we're in this real talk segment, I do have a question for you. It's a little
okay.
spicy. Um,
Hmm.
and it relates to something that is going on in the social media realm. If you are paying attention, if you're on social media, you probably heard about this. And by the
Hmm.
time of this taping, it's still buzz around it.
Hmm.
Shannon Sharp recently had some of his intimate moments were I wouldn't even say leaked. They were online, allegedly unbeknownst to him. So he says on IG Live, some of his intimate sounds were recorded and people could hear. So it just got me to thinking, if you accidentally threw your phone on the bed and then IG Live just so happened to pop up and you were in the middle of an intimate session, with your husband, what would you do if you found out that that was happening or after the fact? Like, how
After
would
the
you handle
fact, it's already
it?
happened.
Yeah.
Girl, putting myself in their shoes.
Right. This isn't putting myself in their shoes. We just doing it in real talk.
Let me tell you, I'm going to be honest with you, as future forward as I am moving in my life, as
Mhm.
much as I am embracing freedom, I would be mortified. Would for a moment, for just a little while, want to crawl into a hole just to know, because
Mm,
I
mm.
don't. So, first of all, shout
Yes.
out to my husband, because by the time this airs, on the
Mm.
day that it airs, we will be celebrating that day, 25 years
Yes.
of marriage. So,
Yes.
shout out to us.
Woo!
Woo! For
Lord, that's
25
an
years of
accomplishment.
marriage. That's a
Jesus.
that's an accomplishment,
That's an
child.
accomplishment, honey.
So, and I love my husband, and
Mm.
we have made sure that we have kept things spicy here and there.
Mhm.
And so I have been able to hear myself
Mhm.
before,
Mhm.
because we have kept things a little spicy.
Mhm.
Um, but I don't want to hear myself on a regular. Like, I don't, and I definitely don't want nobody else to hear me. Like, oh, I would be mortified.
Oh my
I
God.
just I like the separation of church and state.
Yeah.
Like I really like for this to be the life that I am all one integrated person.
Mhm.
But there are certain things I'm just not going to share
Yeah.
with nobody I don't want to share it with.
Exactly.
And that would just not be something I would want to share. So
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
would try my best to pull it down,
Yeah.
from all the places. Thank goodness I don't have Shannon Sharp's viewership, so it
Right.
might be a little easier to do.
Mhm.
Um, but for those who would catch it, I would, of course, make it through it. I mean, it's a
Mhm.
moment, but it would be one that I would mark as an embarrassing one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. What about
Oh
you?
my God, that would be so embarrassing. I would be so embarrassed. I think I would delete my account for a little while. Like, just go off the grid. Like, I don't want to see nothing. I don't want to, because they have so many memes. People have so many comments around it. I don't want to read anything. Just let me go dark. Let my people handle it. My team, y'all do the cleaning up and course correcting. But I just need a minute because that is embarrassing. I don't
Yeah.
want to,
Yeah.
So man, yeah, that's
So
a lot.
can I say a couple of things about this? I know we.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing is, I have heard that perhaps it wasn't as accidental as
Mm-hmm.
that's a possibility,
That's a
that it
possibility.
wasn't as accidental, because you got to go through so
Mhm.
much to make it
It's a
in
lot that you go
life.
through. Yeah.
So
Mhm.
that was the first thing, that perhaps he may not be as mortified as we would be, or as he's acting like he is.
Mhm.
Um, and because he has some things, I think, that are coming and all that kind of stuff, like, it's a really good publicity stunt. Like, not that
Mhm.
he needs it, because he's gone
No.
viral with a whole bunch of guests, but
Right. Mhm.
yeah, so perhaps, who knows? It might be working for him instead of against
Yeah.
him. Bless his heart.
Mhm. Right.
Who knows?
It's crazy.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. It's so many
Mm.
things that could be happening in this world. Like, who knows? But
Yeah,
that's a crazy situation. But yeah. So
nada. Thank you. Mm-mm.
we would love to hear from y'all on this one for
Mm-hmm.
sure. What would you do if one of your intimate moments got leaked for all the world to hear and maybe see? Because some people have videos that have gotten leaked where they are in them.
Mhm.
What would you do? So share with us at www.speakpipe.com/real women real talk, or you can email us at info@realwomenrock.org and tell us how you would have handled that situation. Because,
Phew.
ooh, child.
Ooh, child, indeed. Mm. Mm.
Mm, mm, mm. So, since we are talking about what's happening on social media,
Mhm.
and let's just keep the train going because
Okay.
I really want to talk about something, and we alluded to it in the last episode, I believe, when we were talking about, yes, in the putting myself in her shoes. So if you didn't see the last episode, go back and watch that, especially the putting myself in her shoes segment where we talked about Nick Cannon and Cam Newton. They had a guest, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, who was talking about a number of things with them, but one of the things that she mentioned that I really wanted to delve into and get your thoughts on, sister, is the terminology low functioning versus high functioning people.
Mm-hmm. We be coming up with some words now. Go ahead.
Up with some words. So let's set up right now. I am in this field of counseling and psychotherapy. So let me just look it up and see if there's anything in the textbooks about this. And the context that she used it in is not how it's used from
Ah,
what I have seen.
okay.
It wasn't associated with what she used it for. So
Mhm.
but we're going to delve into it and just talk about it. So, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant mentioned this. She is, I think, a psychotherapist, a psychologist, and she was just kind of breaking down her thoughts about what high functioning and low functioning means.
Mhm.
So, when I went back and looked at her video with Cam Newton, is where she really kind of broke it down. So, I want to go into some of that, her definitions of what those mean, and then get your thoughts on it, sister.
Okay.
So I'll start with low functioning. So she believes that low functioning people, they lack emotional regulation, and they basically choose people who are also that way.
Mm.
So when she's talking about functioning, she's really talking about the ability to regulate your own emotions when
Mm.
you're interacting with people. So she says low functioning, you're not able to emotionally regulate, and you tend to like to be with people who also can't do that, which increases the level of toxicity.
Mm. Mhm.
With high functioning, she says that's the person who does have the ability to regulate their emotions even when they are triggered.
Mhm.
And she said they're also they are non-combative, and they have an ability to disarm a dysregulated person.
Mm.
So it's basically, and this is a term that we've probably heard, especially in the leadership space, a person with a high emotional intelligence.
Mhm.
So basically, what emotional intelligence is the ability to understand and manage your own emotions, and while also understanding the emotions of the people around you.
Mhm.
So even if I am angry, if something that someone says is making me angry, I don't react to their anger. I may regulate my emotions and respond in a calm way so that, we can have a fruitful conversation and that's effective. So that's her definition of high functioning versus low functioning. So to me, it just sounds like someone who has emotional intelligence versus maybe someone who doesn't. So
Mhm.
I'll just pause there. What are your thoughts about the terminology that she used?
So I'm trying to be serious because this is deep dive. But
Okay.
but the first thing that came to mind was so first Coach Stormy said my food can be low vibration or high vibration. I can
You did say
eat low
that.
I can eat low vibrational food. So now
Yes,
so
that's exactly what she
people
said.
people now can be low
Yes,
functioning and high functioning.
high
And
part.
so I get it. I did understand what she said to him. And, to some degree, I agreed with her. For
Mhm,
for me, you just referenced and channeled your grandmother. I just
mhm.
think about, before we had all of these terms,
Yeah,
we would just say, we someone is more mature than the other person. Someone else
yeah,
is immature.
yeah.
You don't
Mhm,
want to be in a relationship with someone that's immature because,
mhm,
they won't have the maturity to treat you the way you
mhm,
deserve to be treated, nor will they make the best decisions even for themselves, right?
mhm.
So,
Yeah.
and then, so for me, I agree with the the meaning behind low functioning and high
Mhm.
functioning.
Yeah.
I really buy into the concept of emotional intelligence.
Mhm,
um, for me, being literate or illiterate in different areas of life
mhm.
resonates with me. So
Yeah.
there was a time when I was financially illiterate. I did not
Mm.
understand the nuances of finances, and I'm still learning, but I have
Mhm,
become more literate financially because there were
mhm.
just certain things I wasn't exposed to growing
Yeah.
up, and so investments and all those kind. I'm catching up to learn those types of things,
Mhm.
um, and then in, emotionally literate or
Mhm,
intelligent.
mhm.
Um, I think it is defined very similarly to what she said, that
Yeah.
you can regulate your own emotions
Mhm,
and you can help others navigate theirs, or you
mhm.
know how to deal with people even,
Yeah.
um, depending upon, you can sense where they are, and as a result you can manage the the interaction with them based on what you perceive. That's a
Yeah.
highly emotionally intelligent or high functioning person.
Mhm,
So behind the premise of it, I agree.
mhm.
Okay, I'll just say that first off.
Okay.
I don't like the terms. I don't like
Mm.
the terms
Okay.
because it to me it is very derogatory to call
Mm.
someone low
Low
functioning,
functioning, yeah.
right?
Mhm,
Um,
mhm.
and to call yourself high functioning, I think assumes some things about us, that all of us are quote unquote low functioning in some area. Like
Yeah.
we all need more support, need some more growth and development in some areas of our lives. And so
Mhm,
I just don't like the terminology
mhm.
itself,
Yeah.
but I do understand the premise behind it. The
Mhm,
last thing I'll say that I thought about while you were talking is I do agree that if you are a highly emotional, intelligent person,
mhm,
in her words, a high functioning person,
mhm.
you have less tolerance for, or you don't possibly want to be in relationship with someone who is emotionally unintelligent
Yeah.
or who is
Mhm.
immature
Yeah.
or who is quote unquote low functioning. It's
Mhm.
just, it's not a good match. You know, church folk would say you're not equally yoked.
Yeah.
So, uh, so it just, I totally agree with the premise, to be honest.
Mhm.
I didn't see anything wrong with it. I just thought the term, we just doing a whole lot right now. We low
Yeah.
value, high value man, high
Mhm.
value woman. We doing a lot when it
It's
comes
a
to
lot of
yeah.
labels. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
What are your
Yeah.
thoughts?
So I thought it was interesting when I heard her break it down. I was like, huh,
Mm,
that's interesting.
mhm,
So it I appreciated the, like you said, the premise of it and what she was trying to convey and the point that she was trying to make. I don't know if I would carry the labels. I think coming from the therapeutic environment, I would just say, oh, this person is dysregulated, or this is a person who is emotionally
mm,
regulated, so, or using emotional intelligence. So I wouldn't refer to them as high functioning or low functioning because, like you said, that can vary depending upon the area, the situation, that kind of thing. I think there is what I got from the conversation was it made me look introspectively to see, do I have some areas where I am low functioning as far as relationships and emotionally low functioning? So it
mhm,
made me go back to relationships that I have been in where it was like a tit for tat. We were pointing fingers and that kind of stuff. And so I was like, man, yeah, I did feel like I was kind of low functioning in that vein, given her
mhm,
definition. And so it just made me look at myself and like, I really desire, now that I'm in this space of introspection and just really growing and evolving, I really do desire a high functioning partner at some point, or just engaging in conversations with people who have high emotional intelligence. Like I
mhm,
really do feel like that's where I'm going. So
mhm,
um, that's kind of why I wanted to have the conversation, because I was just curious about, like, how do we feel about these labels, and have we seen ourselves in low emotional intelligence versus high, and what we desire at this stage of our life, as we're evolving. So yeah.
mhm. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think first of all, I love having these conversations, just
Mm-hmm.
um, talking about what we're thinking about.
Yeah.
Really excites me to
Mm-hmm.
think more about what I think about.
Yeah.
And so in doing that, I think her conversations with them
Mm-hmm.
were really good. I think we said that
Mm-hmm.
last episode. Really
Mm-hmm.
good
Yeah.
and really needed.
Mm-hmm.
And they both reacted to her in different ways. Nick
Yeah.
Cannon and Cam Newton. They both reacted slightly different.
Yeah.
Um, I do think though, having those conversations with in the public gaze,
Mhm,
it puts up defenses
mhm.
naturally for
Yeah.
people that would normally possibly be open to more growth and development, because
Mhm.
that's why we don't record real women sister circles
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
share them, because if you weren't in the room, then
Mhm.
you weren't in the circle.
Yeah,
like
you
like
just missed it, yeah.
yeah,
Mhm,
and it's in that safe space that you're
mhm,
able to grow and open yourself up to whatever the newness might be. And I
mhm.
just fear that we are getting so far beyond, like you said, it's labels, right? We're
Yeah,
getting
it is.
so far beyond what could really be helpful,
Mhm.
and moving into what sells or what
Yeah,
attracts,
yeah, for
that
sure.
kind of thing. So I
Mhm,
appreciate what she said, and I
mhm,
I gathered from the place it was coming.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think, if you really want to help these brothers, then,
Mm-hmm.
it really wasn't. And I'm sure they asked for it.
Mm-hmm.
They had her as a guest on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just think there are ways to say, that's the thing. That's what it is.
That's
There
what
are
it is.
ways to say things
Yeah.
that would open people up or shut them down. That's
Yes.
what it is.
And I thought about that because you mentioned in the last episode that Iyanla had been on Nick Cannon's show, and she just recently did episode with Cam. So I hadn't seen the one with Nick Cannon, but I saw the one with Cam, and you could see how you said she was motherly. I could
Mm-hmm.
see her feminine energy, her softness, her approach to him was totally different from Dr. Bryant's. And you could see the
Mm-hmm.
wisdom there of how to have an effective conversation with him. And you could see how he softened. She was stroking his ego. Like it was just a very drastic difference than the one that the conversation with Dr. Bryant. So you could see the wisdom, and she knows how to deal with people. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And can I say about that? That's another reason why. So we talked in episode 51, right before this one, about these two interviews. And then
Mm-hmm.
before that was our 50th episode.
Mm-hmm.
And we just talked about me moving into this decade of 50.
Yeah.
And that is one reason why I am more excited than I am anything else about
Yeah.
this decade,
Yeah.
because I can see how not only is my insight deepened, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm not afraid to share it.
Yeah.
But I'm also very emotionally sensitive to
Mm.
how I share.
Yeah.
And either before there was either a lack of knowledge or discretion, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. At some point, maybe I would not say something at all out of fear
Mm-hmm.
of being judged or not being received,
Mm-hmm.
rejected, or whatever. But to be able to do it from this space
Mm-hmm.
of and I'm not yet ready to call it mothering, but big sistering,
There you go. There you go. Okay. Big
maybe
sistering.
even auntie level. Maybe I'm
Okay.
at auntie status.
Auntie. There you go.
I'm at
Mhm.
auntie status. I'll
Yeah.
take auntie status. Um, but yeah, it's a totally different feel, and you're right. You could see the
Mhm.
difference between the two.
Yeah. It was a
Yeah.
big difference. So
Mm.
So yeah, so I just wanted to kind of highlight these definitions, and for those watching, I just invite you to explore where you are. So whether you can take off the labels of low functioning, high functioning, if those don't connect with you, but just looking at the ability to regulate your emotions when you're having a conversation with someone and you feel yourself getting riled up. What do you do with those emotions? Do you calm yourself in the moment so that you can remain calm and have a fruitful conversation? Or do you go off? Do you give in to what you're feeling in that moment? And we're not trying to say just suppress everything and hold everything in. However, when we look at the goal of relating to different people and understanding that we're wired differently and that we respond differently to things, it is helpful when we learn how to manage our emotions in a space. So before we move on into the next segment, sister, I'm just curious, like, what would you say helps you to regulate your emotions when you feel like they are getting triggered in interactions with people?
Hmm. Great question. Um, Definitely the first thing is a pause.
Mm-hmm.
I am doing my best these days not to respond immediately,
Mm-hmm.
especially when it's something I'm either triggered by, or it might necessitate an extreme response from me,
Mm-hmm.
right? One way or the other. I'm really, when I notice that this is going to take me on one end of the spectrum or another,
Mm-hmm.
I need a pause.
Yeah.
Marriage has taught me that it's not it's not important that I win an argument. It's not important that I am that I have the one up on you or I have the
Mhm.
best response.
Mhm.
I really need to be thoughtful about
Mm.
how I respond so that we can get somewhere in the
Yeah.
discussion, that we can
Mhm.
move forward.
Yeah.
So pausing is really important. Taking a beat, just take a
Mhm.
beat. Don't respond right away. That helps
Mhm.
me. Breathing helps me.
Mm.
If someone starts talking about breathing,
Mhm.
typically we all end up we're more
Mm.
conscious of our breathing and we tend to breathe more deeply, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is we should be breathing that deeply on a regular basis. Like
Yeah.
our breaths are really shallow from
Mm.
moment to moment.
Mhm.
And so there is so much science behind how beneficial it is that we breathe more deeply. It
Mhm.
literally is life coming into us to
Mm.
we give our cells life. Like from a
Mm.
cellular level, we are life
Yeah.
giving
Yeah.
when we breathe more deeply, and it
Mhm.
affects our regulatory processes, our digestion, our
Mhm.
neurological system. Like it affects everything. And
Mm.
so I personally do better emotionally when I am breathing more deeply. So
Mhm.
my um my responses come out of breath work.
Okay.
Like
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
am, okay, so think. And
Mhm.
sometimes in a sister circle or even in a conversation, when
Mhm.
things get really heavy or
Mhm.
when things get really tensious, I'll
Yeah.
just tell everybody around me, all right, y'all,
Yeah.
let's just take a
Let's
minute.
take a breath. Yeah.
Let's just breathe.
Yes.
Inhale,
Yeah.
inhale, breathe. and
Yeah.
and we can all come to some a more
Mm.
level place so that
Mhm.
we can take in more, because you can get
Yeah.
to the point where you can't receive more because you're not breathing.
Yeah.
So those are my two big ones: pause
Gotcha.
and breathe.
Yeah.
What about you?
So this is an area that I'm definitely still building the muscle in,
Mhm.
and definitely with clients. So my site supervisor has been really helpful in helping me to understand the importance of staying emotionally regulated. So she often we check in, she checks in with me, after the clients and see how I'm feeling. And so what I have been also practicing is just if I feel myself getting regulated or dysregulated in the moment, like just like taking a deep breath, not a visible one that they could see, but just kind of like, okay,
Mhm.
in that moment with them, or talking to myself internally, like it's
Mhm.
okay, like just relax, just calm down, just continue to be present with the person, listen to what they're saying. So that is really helping me. So I'm learning how to do that. So I think the more I do that in the counseling space, the more I'll be able to do that outside. And I also think noticing that there are certain people that I don't want to engage in conversations with. So if I
Good.
am constantly being dysregulated, I don't really want to interact with you like that. If you gonna
Mhm.
mess if it's gonna continuously trigger me. So that's another thing, just being aware of people who get me riled up like that, and just choosing to set boundaries and just not being around them. So those are
Oh,
the two for
that's
sure.
so good. So
Yeah.
good. Because at some point, like you can blame them. They
Yeah.
bring the drama. They always
Mhm.
but if you continue to
Yeah.
allow to be in their space and allow, then
Yeah.
at some point it's not them. It's you
Exactly.
allowing it. So that's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, because
So
at the
good.
end of the day, I am responsible for how I show up and for
Mhm.
what I allow. And I don't have to allow somebody to continue to get me triggered like that.
And don't.
So yeah.
And don't. Yeah.
Yes. Well, this
So
was
good.
great. Oh, good. Thank you, sister, for engaging in this dialogue. So I just invite those of you who are listening to pay attention to yourself, to notice what works for you and notice how you desire to respond, Notice I'm choosing to say respond rather than react. So, how do you desire to respond in situations or conversations that pull you outside of yourself? So, that's what I'll say. Because you get to choose. You don't have to go tit for tat, toe to toe with them. You can choose to be regulated, calm, at peace, and convey what you desire to say. So,
Here.
yes. All righty, that was great. Um, so now let us mosey on into put myself in her shoes
My
because
favorite segment.
this is a good one. And since you were just talking about being married for 25 years, I'm sure you have a lot to share in this area. So, are you ready, sister?
I am.
So, we have Donna and Chris that we're going to talk about today to put ourselves in Donna's shoes. And then we also have a friend, Lisa, that we're going to put ourselves in her shoes as well.
Okay.
So Donna has a really great relationship with her husband, Chris. They've been married for a long time and they are very open and honest with each other. And they often share personal things during pillow talk. So they are divulging information about themselves and maybe about friends, like, oh babe, let me tell you about this. So that's their relationship. So they have a very open relationship when it comes to communicating and sharing. So recently Donna's friend Lisa confided in her about some relationship struggles that she's having, and she asked her not to tell anybody. Now, Lisa knows that Donna has a close relationship with her husband. Lisa knows that Donna talks to her husband and tells him everything. So I'll just put that in there. So Donna is torn because she wants to share with Chris what Lisa has shared with her during their pillow talk, but she also wants to respect her friend's wishes. If you were Donna, would you tell your husband? And if you were Lisa, knowing that Donna tells her husband everything, would you be mad if Donna told her husband what you shared?
This is a good one. Where did you get this? This is so good. Okay, so this is real women, right?
This is real women. Yes, yes, it is. Yeah.
So here's the truth. The truth is, I have been on both sides of this fence as it relates to being Donna.
Okay.
I have told my husband things and sworn him to secrecy, but I have also not told him some things. The determination between the two has typically been, how sensitive is it? And I know that I might not gauge the level of sensitivity the same way the person who told me, but I have to be honest, I would be using my lens, right? So so if I felt like this is so sensitive, he might see her differently, or he might treat her differently, or this is just too sensitive for, like, I can tell how deeply this is rooted with her and her relationship. And I just, there's nothing to be gained from me sharing it with my husband. We are going to keep living our lives, and he's not going to be the better or the worse for knowing or not knowing. So there's really no need to tell. I have leaned more on that side because, as Lisa, knowing how close Donna is with her husband, if I said don't tell anybody, as Lisa, I mean don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
And I probably, if I'm putting myself in Lisa's shoes, I'm probably going to be very specific with you and say, not even your husband.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I go through all of and because we are close, and because I know how close you are to your husband, I would probably delineate the thing that you could tell your husband and nobody else, because I know y'all are one and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
If you tell him, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
but I would probably make that distinction.
Mm-hmm.
And if I am Donna and Lisa makes that clear distinction for me, I'm gonna honor that. I really am. Because again, this is Lisa's life. This is not, me and Chris's life. This is
Yeah.
Lisa's life. So I really want to respect her boundaries so that she would know to trust me again. And so
Yeah.
I will end this by being real women,
Mm-hmm.
um, and just say I have been Lisa
Mm-hmm.
and had Adana tell something that I asked Adana not to share.
Yeah.
And it does not feel good. And
Yeah.
it's something to get over. It really is something
Mm-hmm.
to get over. And it makes a difference in your relationship. I'll just say
Yeah.
it that way. And so,
Mm-hmm.
so I think it's really important if I'm Donna and I know I'm gonna tell my husband,
Mm-hmm.
at this point in my big age, I need to tell Lisa, don't tell me,
Yeah.
or after you tell me, okay, you meant my husband, right? Like,
Let's be very clear.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 So that I can be really clear and do the right
Mhm.
thing by
Yeah.
Lisa, because she didn't
Yeah.
have to entrust that in me. She could have
Yeah.
shared that with somebody else. So
Mhm. Yeah.
that's a lot, but you that was a good question.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that can get kind of sticky. And I heard this on another show, and it was from the men's perspective. So it was
Mhm.
interesting to hear the guys talk about this. Um,
Where are
for
you?
me, I share similar sentiments. So if I am Donna, um, although I have a close relationship with my husband, I really want to be a vault when it comes to my sisters. Like,
Mhm.
I don't want uh, to violate that.
Mhm.
And I don't want there to be any awkwardness between how my husband looks at my friend. So
Mhm.
I don't want to do that, because I know how trust is such a huge thing for me, especially
Mhm.
with my sisters. So I don't want to do anything to violate that or interfere with that. So I am very careful about what I share. And if I do share something, it would be, I wouldn't use any names, and it wouldn't be like the deep dark things that my friends have shared. Like, it'll be something that is superficial, something like, yes, so some, one of my friends is going through something, dating or
Right.
something like that. It will be something superficial, but it won't be like a secret that they're like, look, don't tell anybody. I would
Right.
not want to cross those lines. So if I were Donna, I just wouldn't say anything, because there are other things that I could talk to my husband
Yeah.
about. And then if I were Lisa, mm,
Hmm.
man, that's tough. If I know that my friend shares everything with her husband,
Mm.
mm, I
That
think
don't
I
even feel
would.
good.
It just doesn't feel good. I would probably say and vocalize, hey, this is just for the sisters, not for the husbands or whatever.
Mhm.
And if that was violated, I don't know that I would feel comfortable sharing my innermost things with that person anymore. So I think there would be a little line drawn in the sand with Donna, because of the relationship. So I may just go to another sister and share with her,
Mhm.
that I could confide in, because of just kind of the violating the trust. I just wouldn't want. I don't want Chris to know my business, nah.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
so yeah. So I probably would just go to another sister and talk to her, as opposed to talking to Donna. And if she did share, I wouldn't feel comfortable sharing anything that uh secretive with her. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Because trust is built with consistency.
It is.
So,
Mhm.
um, my trust with you builds as
Mhm.
I find out that I share something with you and I don't hear it anywhere else, or it doesn't
Yeah.
go anywhere else.
Mhm.
Um, and nobody's treating me different like that's what happened with me. I was like, this feels different now. What just happened? I thought
Yes.
so. So that's, and then the other part of it, the flip side is as it is broken,
Mhm,
it
mhm.
is, it's really hard to do it again. So
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, I get it.
Mhm.
So, yes, y'all, we would love to hear from you to know what you would do in this situation. If you have been in this situation, excuse me, how did you handle it? And if you were Donna or Lisa, what would you do? So, visit us once again, speakpipe.com/real women, real talk, or you can email us at info@realwomenrock.org.
Mhm.
Yes. So we are moseying on into our last segment, the spiritual nugget. So,
That went
sister,
fast.
I know with
Mm.
everything that we have talked about today, what is coming up for you to leave with the people?
Woo. Um, this was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so even in the earlier segment, the deep dive,
Mm-hmm.
and especially in what we just talked about, the word trust keeps coming up for me.
Okay.
And so I am reminded of a quote. And I may not do it exactly right, but I just want you to give me a second, let it breathe.
Yeah.
To be trusted is a greater compliment than being loved.
Mm. Wow.
And just allowing that to settle in for a second, all of us desire love, and all of us have an innate desire to extend love, right?
Mm-hmm.
To be loved and to love.
Yeah.
Trust is harder to come by. It's harder to give.
Mm-hmm.
It's harder to be vulnerable enough to open yourself up to trust,
Mm-hmm.
and it is harder to be trusted. So both ways. And so as it relates to trust, when it comes down to being poured into by a counselor, by a friend, by a family member, by a spouse, know that how you share,
Mm-hmm.
how you pour out to somebody
Mm-hmm.
will determine how trustworthy you are
Mm.
then, and how open they will be to receive.
Oh, that's so good. Mm-hmm.
How you share with someone makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
And building trust is about consistency. So the more that you're able to show yourself trustworthy, the
Mm-hmm.
more someone will trust you.
Yeah.
And so that it is easier to be loved than
Mhm.
it is to be trusted.
Yeah.
It is easier to be loved than it, and it's hard to be loved sometimes.
Mhm,
It's hard to
mhm,
find genuine, unconditional real love, but that
mhm,
real trust, and so
mm,
many of us have that as an issue, a challenge, an
yeah,
obstacle that we're overcoming. And
mhm,
so in whatever relationship you are in, just know that if you want to be trusted,
mhm.
dare to be trustworthy.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is so good. I never heard that said before, but
Mm.
I get it.
Yeah.
Mm, mm,
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah.
mm, mm.
That's hard. Trust
That
is
that's
hard.
hard. Yeah, that's a hard one.
And it causes defense mechanisms to come
It does.
up.
Yeah.
Before I let my guard down, I'm going to
Mhm.
automatically just put something up. So
Yeah.
whether you're trying to tell me about myself, or whether
Mhm.
you are looking for me to open up my and pour my heart out to you,
Mhm.
be trustworthy.
Be
Be
trustworthy.
someone worthy of my trust.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah.
Let that sink in, y'all. Just chew on that for a little bit, cause mm-hmm,
Yeah.
yeah, I got to sit with that later. I got to make a note of that to sit with that, cause that is profound.
Mm,
Yeah, so when you
mm,
think about it.
mhm.
Hmm. Okay, this is what we do. You have been
Mhm.
introduced to Real Women Rock. This is who we are. This is what we do. And we mean what we say when we're talking about trust and creating those safe spaces so that you can have a trusted space to share vulnerably as much as you desire to. Because some people don't. When they come into the space, you come and share as you feel comfortable doing so. But I will tell you that you may have the intention of not saying anything, and you get in there and people just get to sharing, and you're like, well, I got something to say too. That's usually what happens in our spaces. And like Trenace said earlier, these spaces aren't recorded. They are not for social media. They are not for public consumption. They are for you. So we would love for you to visit us at realwomenrock.org for more information about how you can partner with us, how you can attend one of our sister circles. We have virtual, so that you can connect from anywhere, and we have in-person circles happening. So visit our website, figure out what's happening, where we are, what we're doing, so that you can join us. We would love to have you. And we also have an annual intensive that we have every year. And this year it is the Win Hers Circle. That is the theme for this year. So we're going to be talking about how you can win in life and the road to capturing the gold. So we're going to be in Cambridge, Maryland, November 22nd through the 24th at a beautiful hotel. If you're on social media, check out our Instagram page, TikTok page, Facebook page. We just did a little sneak peek of what the hotel property looks like. It is so breathtaking, and it
Mhm.
just invites you to want to come. So we would love for you to come to our annual intensive. Visit realwomenrock.org/intensive for more information and register, because the early bird registration ends soon. And you want to make sure that you book your hotel so that you can have a space that you can just relax and be in fellowship with the other sisters. So
Mhm.
yes, that's who we are. That's what we have going on, and we would love for you to join us. So
Yes,
this is so great.
that was good.
Ooh, so
Mhm.
so good, y'all. So this has been another amazing episode of Real Women Real Talk, and we thank you for watching and listening. And until next time, bye.
Bye, y'all.